Yes, indeed. This is truly a deeply immersive whodunit mystery. Yes. Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm Tekking with glasses. I'm pretty much exactly like the other guy, except I'm wearing glasses, which of course makes me smarter. Absolutely. You gotta wear glasses to be smart. And if you wear glasses while reading a book, then the whole world knows you're smart. That's how it works, even if there's no lenses in said glasses. Okay. Hey everybody, how you doing? Tekking here. Welcome back to the Fullbring discussion series. I know last time I said I was going to talk about Shishigawara in this video. I still am going to do that, but I made the executive decision to do Shishigawara and Tsukishima in the same video. For two reasons. Number one, Shishigawara, he doesn't really have a lot of screen time in the final arc. He has like one moment at the very beginning where he confronts Orihime, and even then he doesn't really do much of anything. Then Tsukishima just shows up anyway. There's a few other comedy moments, but really he doesn't do anything until the very end where he fights against Ikkaku. And once again, even that fight is not really that drawn out. Basically, he uses his full bring on Ikkaku a couple times, and then his full bring begins to like, oh crap, you mean it gets weaker the more I use it? And then Ikkaku just like, BAM! And then that's pretty much the fight right there. He never even got a power boost from Ichigo. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that I could stretch out a Moe Shishigawara video up to like over 20 minutes. I am me. But I felt like, alright, that might be kind of like pushing it even for myself. But the other reason why I did it is because I want to stick it to Tsukishima. Because Tsukishima, the man that we thought was like the main villain for the majority of this arc, right up until like the last 10 chapters where it turns out Ginjo is the real mastermind here and like Tsukishima was working with him. But for the vast majority of this arc, you thought, oh yeah, it's gonna be diet, caffeine-free Aizen. He's gonna be the main villain, right? So he doesn't even get his own dedicated video. That's how much I love you, Tsukishima. Alright. By the way, what book are you guys currently reading? Because of course Tsukishima's ability, his full bring is Book of the End. So Book of the End. The End, yeah. So his ability is literally turning a bookmark into a sword. But yeah, what book do you happen to be reading? This is The Sentence is Death, the sequel to The Word is Murder by Anthony Horowitz. I'm a big fan of Anthony Horowitz. I read the Alex Rider and the Power of Five series when I was in high school. And just recently, like when that past few months, I was in the bookstore and I saw he does these murder novels now. I mean, he's done a bunch of like different, books over the years. He's a British novelist. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the second book, The Sentence is Death. So yeah, good one. Also, I have another book here. This is a book that one of my fans has actually written and he sent it to me. This is Fate's Pawn by Rick Fox, a very good fantasy novel as well. Alright, so let's start off with Tsukishima. Also, YouTube has that new chapter feature. So if you look down in the little, like the scrolling bar below, that little red bar, you can actually see it broken up into different segments. So you can see the segment where I talk about Tsukishima, and then the segment where I shift over to talk about Moe Shishigawara. If you are just a serious Shishigawara fan, and you're like, come on, Tekking, talk about Jackpot Knuckle, you could skip to that part below, because science! Alright, so Tsukishima, man, he's just... I don't know if Kubo was really trying to, like, throw some Aizen into him, because Aizen was currently locked in Muken, and we had a whole story arc with him, and alright, he's locked up, and he's not going to do anything until the final arc, so... I don't know, maybe it was like Kubo really liked drawing and like designing that sort of like villain, the lanky dude with the long hair, and he's just like, I am so more intelligent than any of you. I can just calmly sit in the background while reading a book and I could still kick your ass 8 ways to Sunday. That's how badass I am. And maybe Kubo just really liked that kind of villain, so he was like, alright, so for this little arc in between the Arrancar and the Thousand Year Blood War, we're going to have a villain that's very remarkably similar to Aizen, at least just from a design perspective. I mean, yeah, Aizen has brown hair, Tsukishima has black hair, Tsukishima has a little scar above his eye, but, it really is, it's noticeable, at least to me, okay? So, the first time he shows up, I think he shows up a little bit earlier in the anime. He just kind of, like, shows up to screw with Ichigo a little bit, like, in the background. I think that was that one scene in the anime where he makes, like, one of those beams fall or something, and then Ichigo's trying to help that guy out in the construction site, and you just kind of see Tsukishima in the background just like walking out from behind one of the pillars, just like, and then he just walks away. So he's just like, Yes, just letting you know that I will be mentally screwing with you for the next couple of days. Hi, how you doing? I'm Shūkurō Tsukishima. Yes, okay, well, see you later, Ichigo. The first time he makes, like, a proper introduction is when Orihime is going back to her apartment, or I think it was Chad's apartment, and then you had Shishigawara there, who shows up to confront Orihime. He's like, I'm here to take you on, but then he sees how absolutely drop-dead gorgeous Orihime was, and he immediately loses his nerve, but it's okay because Tsukishima's there. Tsukishima is essentially like Shishigawara's like mentor, master-apprentice kind of relationship. They're all members of Execution, they're all members of the Fullbringer group, but because of their master scheme they had, where, okay, we gotta get substitute Shinigami Ichigo, we gotta get his powers back so we could steal them, so we could be stronger than ever, so Tsukishima used his Fullbring to, like, change around Ginjo's memories and all the other members of the Execution, except for himself and Shishigawara, who decided to live in Tsukishima's awesome mansion on the edge of Karakura Town, which he just has, so I'm guessing he has a lot of money too, or maybe Yukio gave him a loan. I don't freaking know how this worked. It's a little bit confusing. But Moe Shishigawara, he couldn't cut it, so Tsukishima arrives, and he takes out his Fullbring Book of the End. Takes out his bookmark, it transforms into a katana with a really cool guard and like a little string attached to it, like a bookmark, you know, kind of aesthetic for the handle, and he takes it, and he slashes Orihime right through the back, right into her chest, and I'm sorry if I'm like, I have the mentality of a 5-year-old, but was I the only person at that one particular moment when this scene happened in the manga? I was like, kind of half expecting Orihime to deflate like a balloon. You know, okay, I know it's ridiculous, that's stupid, that's silly, that's like childish, but you can't get it out of your head now, can it? Like, shing, what just happened? Okay, so, as you could probably tell from this image here, now, Orihime did not get horribly lacerated and bleed out all over the freaking sidewalk. No, Tsukishima has two abilities. He has the ability to slice, from the way that Ginjo described it, literally anything. Because that's when, but keep in mind, this was when Ginjo's mind was, like, altered by Tsukishima because of their plan. So, you know, maybe he doesn't have that ability, he does have the ability. He definitely has the ability to use the sword like a regular sword. He can definitely do that. He sliced apart the door, he clashed with Ichigo, you know, he sliced Riruka, and she's like, this isn't the cut that erases memories or modifies memories, this is the cut that actually hurts people. So, whether or not the sword itself can actually slice through literally anything, which is kind of overpowered, but then again, maybe it balances out because Tsukishima himself is not like a physically, you know, he has the bringer step and everything like that, he can run fast with that technique and everything, but he's not like super beefy or anything like that. I don't know. It might just be a modified memory. Oh, like little advertisement. So yeah, it might just be a modified memory, but it does have the ability to slice through a lot of things, okay? But the other main ability of Book of the End is it literally allows him to insert a bookmark, so to speak, in somebody's memories. So he can effectively change around memories, modify them, delete them, add to them, usually including himself in said memories in some way. So when he sliced Orihime like this, he wasn't actually trying to injure her, he was simply planting the memory of himself into Orihime, that kind of sounded wrong, so that Orihime would think of Tsukishima as an ally, as a trusted friend. He does the same thing to Chad, as well as with Karin and Yuzu and Keigo and Tatsuki and all of Ichigo's friends, allowing Tsukishima to essentially just walk into Ichigo's house, put up his freaking feet on the coffee table, and then be like, "Hey Ichigo, how you been? Your sisters have been so kind to me. Yes, Karin, thank you for the soda. Oh, that's great. Oh, Yuzu, how you been? It's been so long. I know, right? Ichigo, sit down next to your cousin Shu. Let's have a conversation. Let's catch up. It's been too long." You know, imagine if, like, your worst enemy just, like, did that inside of your house, right? So Ichigo kind of loses it. He's just like, "What the hell are you doing?" Bam! Punches him through a plate glass window. That's, you know, that's the reaction a lot of people would probably do in that situation. Although, it gets honestly kind of mentally exhausting throughout the course of this arc. For one thing, because, like, the bags under Ichigo's eyes as more and more of this stuff go on. You know, he sees Tsukishima messing with his family, and then he sees Tsukishima messing with his friends, like Keigo and Tatsuki and Mizuru and everybody. You know, the bags get, you know, progressively more under Ichigo's eyes, like he's ready to just have, like, a freaking anxiety attack, right? I was kind of wondering, because the entire time this happens, Ichigo doesn't really try to explain to his friends. He's just kind of shouting at Tsukishima, like, what did you do to them, Tsukishima? What did you do? And it's just like, Ichigo, okay, I'll give you the mulligan. I'll give you the mulligan when you first walked into your house and you saw Tsukishima just chilling on your couch. I can give you the freebie that you freaked out and you grabbed him and you punched him and everyone else was like, Ichigo, why are you doing that to Cousin Shu? You know, like, oh, okay, fine. But then he goes away with Ginjo for a little bit, and Ginjo's memories haven't been altered, but the other members of Execution have, and so they go back to Tsukishima's mansion and he walks out and he's like, welcome to my manor. Come on inside so we can have a chat, you know? So, he's had a little bit of a moment to kind of chill out and kind of, like, realize what's going on here. I wonder what would have happened if Ichigo tried to explain to his friends what was actually going down, because I don't believe Ichigo never really actually tried to do that, because he was kind of distraught the entire time. Like, maybe with Tatsuki and Keigo, it might not have gone over too well, because they're not so acquainted with, like, Shinigami and stuff. They know Ichigo is a Shinigami at this point, but they're not, like, actually dealing with all the crazy stuff that Ichigo and Uryu, Orihime, and Chad has had to deal with, right? So, like, with Orihime and Chad, I would have just kind of wanted Ichigo to say to them, like, Chad, Orihime, he has memory-altering powers. He's changing your minds to make him think that you're, like, he's your friend. He's not. Now, I'm not saying that that would have helped at all, you know, because they could have easily just spun it back. Because it's when you have your own memories and they're conflicting and your friend's acting crazy, you know, that's kind of hard to just take at face value. You know, if like, Chad really does genuinely have the memories of Tsukishima being always there for him and always helping him out, and then Ichigo's just coming in like, we need to beat the crap out of Tsukishima! Come on, Chad! Be like, Ichigo, calm down, bro. You're the one acting crazy here. And I'm just saying, it'd be like, I'm just saying, he has memory-altering powers. Like, even if he did say that, he probably would have just been like, well, Ichigo, you know, if he does have memory-altering powers, then how do you know that your memory isn't being altered? I'm like, crap, now we're getting into this loop. You know what, guys, just step aside and let me punch him in the face, and then we'll worry about it later. I wonder if, we know if you kill a user of a Fullbring, that Fullbring's effect dissipates immediately, it disappears. But I'm wondering what would happen if you knocked him out. You know, that would be an easy solution to the problem, right? You know, just like, okay, alright, how about we do this? We knock out Tsukishima, and regardless of whether or not he's a friend or an enemy, if he's knocked out and the Fullbring's effect fades, then I guess we'll find out. If he truly is your friend, Chad and Orihime, then he'll recover and he'll just have a mild concussion. You know, whatever. I think that's the best way to solve this problem, really. But no, Ichigo, he freaks out, goes into Fullbring, and goes to slice off Tsukishima's arm. Orihime fixes it, yeah. So yeah, that's how it goes, especially since in Orihime's case, Tsukishima, I think, used his ability to replace brother to himself. So when Orihime remembers her brother, you know, like helping her out and like raising her and everything, she just remembers Tsukishima doing all that. Because that's how his power works. Now, we could just leave it at that, and it would be a pretty interesting ability. We could just leave it at that. Like, he takes out a bookmark, it makes a sword, he can cut things regularly with the sword, but if he wants to, he can also modify memories of people that he cuts. Okay, I think that would be a perfectly cool ability to have for a Fullbring, alright? Well, get ready, because it gets way more complicated than that. Because later on, when Tsukishima was fighting against Byakuya, he slices the ground with Book of the End, and when he does that, he's actually inserting traps into the ground that he placed years ago. The premise is, oh, I sliced that rock over there with Book of the End, so I inserted myself into the past of that rock, and that rock is now booby-trapped to release poisonous needles or whatever, because it's a trap I placed there years ago. Made even more complicated by the fact all this was happening while they were inside of Yukio's little chat room universe. So maybe Tsukishima cut the binary code of Yukio's PSP, and this is where I think it gets kind of confusing. When you're inserting yourself into the past of objects, you know? It's just like, that's the part that confuses me. So I went on the wiki, trying to figure out, like, how they exactly worded Tsukishima's ability, okay? And this is how they worded it, and even this is confusing, alright? And I don't blame the wiki, I blame the way that this was presented in the story. Book of the End has the ability to split the past of whomever it cuts. Alright, I'm with you so far. Well, actually, no, I'm not with you so far, because is it the past is in the actual time? Like, you're affecting the time space continuum? Or is it just someone's memories? Because there's a difference. This ability works not by manipulating time and memories, but by literally inserting Tsukishima's presence in the victim's history, into the victim's history. Okay, so this is the part where it gets confusing for me. It doesn't affect time or memories, but it affects their history. There's some overlap here, okay? History, memories, and time. They're overlapping there, okay? You can't affect someone's history without modifying their memories in the process, and you can't affect history in general without affecting someone's time. It's like one or the other, okay? I've concluded at the end of the day, it has the ability to affect time itself. I just want to explain to you why this is confusing to me, all right? Okay. Let's say I have Tsukishima's power. All right, I have Tsukishima's bookmark ability. I have Book of the End. All right. And what I want to do with this ability is I want to stab a piece of the sidewalk and place a booby trap under... I said booby. Place a booby trap under that piece of the sidewalk. Okay. So I use Book of the End. I activate my full bring. The sword comes out. I go outside. What exactly do I do? Do I think about what I'm going to do and then insert it? Like, okay, 3 years ago, I went to Home Depot and bought some stuff and then came back to this spot and I dug up the freaking piece of the cement on the sidewalk and then I placed a booby trap under said cement and then I sealed it back up and then I did everything else. I waited for it to dry and everything. Okay, thinking about what I did and shing and then all right, the trap is set. Like, is that what you have to do? Is that how this works? Does he just have to think, or does it have to be abstract as hell? Just be like, oh, I placed a trap here 3 years ago that'll go off if anybody steps here. Shing, 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 shing. Does he have to be, like, really specific with how he laid the traps? Or it's like, no, spike trap here, closing walls here. This will open up to a pit of piranhas here. You know, because he still had to physically go and do it at some point if he's messing with the space-time continuum, right? God, this is confusing to me. Maybe I'm thinking too much into this. Yeah, I'm sure I'll get some responses below on how this goes down. But even more complicated, we get to the final arc. The one moment Tsukishima did anything in the final arc, where him and Ginjo show up at the very, very end. Yuha has already used his mighty future sight powers to destroy Ichigo's new Bankai, so that's lying on the ground. Orihime can't repair it. It's broken, it's shattered, okay, and it's a Bankai. So like, that was the whole point of the damn story. The last arc, the big point of it was, once a Bankai is broken, you can't repair it. Now, you can kind of patch it back up to make it look like it's okay, like, Ryumon Hozoki Maru, Ikaku's Bankai, Akon was able to paste it back together so it looked like it was still in top condition, but it really wasn't. Mayuri even explained this to Ichigo. He's just like, yeah, once a Bankai's broken, you can't do shit. That's why Ichigo had to go through the whole thing of going to the Soul Palace and getting it reforged by Nimea and everybody like that. That's the reason, right? So here you have a broken Bankai, and Tsukishima just shows up out of nowhere and just stabs Ichigo and just like, haha, now I've inserted that your Bankai was never broken. Alright, Shing, Ginjo, we did what I'm supposed to do. Let's get out of here. Let's go to Denny's before it gets completely annihilated by whatever Yuha's trying to do. Break apart the dimensions or whatever. Ginjo did really nothing. I guess Ginjo gave some words of encouragement to Ichigo, I suppose, but whatever. Beyond that, he didn't do anything. And we found out last time Giriko also didn't do anything. So Tsukishima, I guess, was, next to Yukio and Riruka, one of the Fullbringers, to do something. And I'm guessing if you're just going by what he did, repairing Ichigo's Bankai, I guess he contributed the most there, but still, it doesn't make any damn sense. So wait, whoa. Back up the train a little bit here. If Tsukishima was able to do that, then remember when Ichigo's Bankai was broken by Yuha? And actually, it was Hashwolf. Yeah, it was Hashwolf, wasn't it? He clashes with Yuha a little bit during the first invasion. Then Hashwolf just kind of steps forward and just cuts down Ichigo's sword and then just walks away. So if Tsukishima would have stabbed Ichigo back then, would he have gotten his original Tensa Zangetsu back? Or would he be able to, like, oh no, your Bankai was never broken. Okay, Orihime, heal Tensa. Alright, we're good. Could that have happened? Could have it worked the same way? Because I guess it could have. Wait. Why couldn't he have, like, okay, during the Fullbringer arc, when Ichigo lost his Shinigami powers, couldn't Tsukishima just stab him and be like, you never lost your Shinigami powers? Oh, I never did. Shing, I got him back. If you could just repair a Bankai like that the way he did it, right? I'm very confused. I think I made a video about this, like, when it first happened because of how confusing this damn thing was. Basically, I guess at the end of the day, Yuha has the power to manipulate fate, the future, all futures. He has basically the ability to see every possible future like grains of sand, and he can change the track of which future he's going to head to, alright? So he can look into the far-flung future in possibility 36B, and he's like, you know, in this possibility, Ichigo dies. In this possibility, Ichigo wins, and I can just direct it whatever path. That was Yuha's ability, right? Well, Tsukishima's is the power to manipulate the past and history. So that's like the counter for Yuha. But then you start to think Yuha has literal god powers. To think that the mere Fullbring of a human could compete with his god powers is absurd, really. You know, Yuha is the, you know, Christ figure of all Quincy's. He absorbed the Mimi Hage. He absorbed the power of the Soul King. He had all these crazy powers at his disposal. But the Fullbring of a human, who's now a soul living in the Soul Society, that's enough to just like, I've shattered your Bankai with the power of fate and time. Oh, it got repaired by this human. Oh, alright, well, what are you gonna do? I saw that future as well. Yeah, did you also see the Deus Ex Machina silver arrow getting shot through your heart? Did you see that, Yuha? I guess not. I guess you didn't see that, right? Okay, what are you gonna do? Oh, man, it's like, I just don't get it. I really genuinely don't. You know, I'm guessing, I'm just going with time manipulation. Screw it. He has the ability to manipulate time, and then he died, and then the power faded away. Or maybe he could do both. Maybe he can cut regular things with his sword. He can insert memories, but he can also mess with the space-time continuum if he wants to. Maybe he has all three of those powers. I don't freaking know. I don't get it. Something else we saw him able to do, though, is after he cuts somebody and inserts, like, the memories, he can add memories later, but when he does that, he kind of risks the people, like, shutting down mentally. So he could stab Chad and then insert memories of him being his friend, and then later on, he can also add stuff on top of that. Like, yes, Chad, remember that time we went to the ice cream parlor and I bought you that chocolate fudge sundae, and you said this was the best day of my life, Tsukishima? And Chad's like, yeah, I kind of remember that, and do you remember that time I bought you that puppy? I think I remember that? Oh no, if you just keep adding memories on top of it, it works, the memories will stick, but if you add too many, it kind of has, like, mental overload, and you'll just, like, have, like a mental shutdown, to use a Persona 5 reference, and just, you know, collapse right there. So you gotta be careful there. So I guess he doesn't even need to add the memories when he's actually cutting them. They can be added later at his leisure. That's also kind of pretty powerful there, right? Yeah, okay. Because if he cuts somebody again with the same sword, then they return to normal. So cut somebody once, insert the memories, and you can add memories later if you want, and then if you slice again, the memories will go back to the way it was before, like taking the bookmark out. So, yeah. That's Tsukishima. He's confusing. Oh, and then we have the fight with Byakuya, where, you know, he cuts Senbon Zakura, and he's like, I've cut your Zanpakuto. I therefore now know all of its abilities. So he also learns stuff about the opponent as well. It's not just him inserting himself into other people. When he cuts them, I guess he just, like, immediately copies their memories into his own mind, so he knows everything about what they can do and what they were training. Even Shinigami that have lived, like, hundreds of years. You think that would cause, like, memory overload for him or something, but he's like, no, I know everything about you, Byakuya Kuchiki. I know when you were born, I trained you, I raised you, I know about your grandpa, I know about Yoruichi Shihoin, I know about that one time when you were 13 years old and you were in your room and you were looking at images of Yoruichi and you were kind of, he's like, Byakuya's like, shut up. So he knows about what's going on with their lives as well. So yeah, it's kind of, it has a lot of abilities. It really does seem to me that Kubo, like, kept like, oh yeah, he also has this, and he can do this, and he could do this, and he can do this. And now he's dead, so whatever, but yeah. Man, and his death scene, that was, I remember when I was reviewing Bleach, because this was back when I first started doing, you know, manga content at all, like, really, like, the first year I was doing this, and, that really still pisses me off to this day. It's so perplexing, where Byakuya takes Senbon Zakura in his hands, and just, whoosh, just runs it right through his chest, just, boosh! and then blasts out his heart, parts of his lungs, his rib cage, his spine is part of his spine is just gone, his muscles. He just has a hole in his chest. And yet he's still able to just wander around like, I'm still alive. Ginjo, why'd you die, buddy? Why'd you die? Like, he still survives for like a good 5, 10, 30 minutes before he finally drops. Maybe he used Book of the End to stab himself, and then, like, I didn't actually get hurt. I'm not going to die. And I actually didn't get blasted in the chest, and that maybe managed him to get around for longer. Makes about as much sense as anything else, right? Oh, man, Tsukishima. Okay, well, you know, the more I am just talking about his character, the more I'm kind of confused on what Kubo, like, wanted his character to be, you know? Are you having that impression as well? Like, maybe Kubo wanted to throw, like, a dashing of eyes in, but some new stuff in him, too, and this Machiavellian schemer, but it didn't cohere. It's like you throw a bunch of stuff together to make a cake, but you really don't know what you're doing, and you're just like, baking soda, baking powder, sugar, salt, milk, eggs, and you just mix it all together. Like, hey, it's not coming together, you know? It's just like, you tried, but it's kind of just a mess, you know, right? Well, yeah, so as you can see, I'm not really a big Tsukishima fan, okay. But moving on now to Moe Shishigawara to end us out here. Not really much to go on here. So he is a high school student that lives, like, in the town over from Karakura Town, right? And not really sure on how he ended up joining Execution. Like, I guess Tsukishima was the one that sought him out first, and is like, hey, you want to come with me? Because Ginjo kind of found Tsukishima at a young age in that tree stump, and we never know anything about what happened with that, really, because the flashbacks were kind of cut. I understand there's more to talk about here with the light novels and stuff, but I haven't read the light novels, so I know there's a little bit more from the Fullbringers there, but beyond that, I don't know. So, because Ginjo kind of saved Tsukishima, maybe Tsukishima's like, I will take on an apprentice too, and I will teach him the ways of Fullbring, and so he finds Moe Shishigawara. And he has the Fullbring of Jackpot Knuckle, which is a pretty cool sounding ability, and the ability itself takes the form of brass knuckles in the form of the 777. He's kind of like the delinquent high school student. He's like, hey, you want to fight, punk? You know, kind of something like that. And so it seems like his life is pretty chill. It seems like he's living with Tsukishima in his pretty bomb mansion, you know, on the edge of town. Just like, yeah, just chilling out here in this mansion. That's pretty cool. You know, going to high school, picking fights with everybody, punching people in the face with my Jackpot Knuckle. That's his life. I like the Oni shirt he's wearing, right? He was absolutely smitten with Orihime. That was a pretty fun scene where he shows up and just like, hey, Orihime Inoue, I'm here to take you down. Oh my god, so cute. And then he just passes out, so that was kind of funny. Then we have some comedy moments where him and Tsukishima are just chilling out eating dinner, and then he sneezes and gets it all over Tsukishima's face, and he's like, yes, Shishigawara, yes, indeed. Yeah, so I guess they live together? I guess he doesn't have any parents, so he lives with Tsukishima. What's their relationship? I don't really know, and I don't really kind of care to want to know at this point. And so he shows up at the mansion when everyone's fighting, everyone's getting it on. He punches part of like the wall or like the chandelier, and it causes like the bolts to come unscrewed, and the chandelier kind of falls on Ginjo. He punches Ginjo's sword, a cross of scaffold, and that breaks the guard off. So what Jackpot Knuckle does is anything that he punches with Jackpot Knuckle, I'm not going to use it on you, Barry, but anything he punches with Jackpot Knuckle, I guess, immediately takes full damage or way more damage than he ever could deal with it. Not even necessarily damage, though, because like when he punched the chandelier, it's not like the chandelier got damaged. It was the screws came undone and then fell. You know, so it's basically like whatever he wants to happen or whatever is advantageous to Shishigawara in that particular instance, whatever he hits will happen in his favor. So it's like, I'm in a fight right now. I really need something to help me in this fight. Punches a wall, and then, like, the chandelier falls down, right? Like, something like that. So, essentially, like, Baccarat's Luck Fruit in the One Piece movie film Gold, which was also kind of broken in that regard, how that was used. You know, I talked about last time with Giriko having the time ability and being like, you know, whenever a character gets a time-based ability in anime, I'm kind of hesitant because I'm just like, that's going to be really tricky to make it work without either really nerfing them or not making them like a god of time, right? Even worse, though, is luck-based ability. Hey, what's your ability in anime? Fire manipulation? Can you teleport? No, I can control luck. I'm like, oh no, that's basically just, you know what that is? I'll tell you what that is right now. The ability to control luck. This is what this is. When the author decides to give a character the ability to manipulate luck or probability or fate or any of that bullshit, he's basically just writing a check, and this is the check. Free pass to do anything when I feel like it. Here you go. All right, cool. Thanks. That's useful. Thank you very much, sir. I will be using that now. Is like, because that's how it can be. It's like, I want this character to be defeated, even if it makes no sense, because this character's way stronger than this other character. Luck powers. Oh, you just slipped on a banana peel. Whoa, no, you got trapped in a giant chasm that just opened up magically. What are you gonna do? Now, of course, Shishigawara's power is not that crazy, but still, I mean, yeah. Now, there is a weakness to it, of course, though, and the weakness is if he punches the same thing over and over again consecutively, the lower the chance of the jackpot happening is. And when he used that against Hozokimaru, like when he first punched Hozokimaru, it snapped Ikkaku's spear. And you know, when he punched Ikkaku's shoulder, it like dislocated it. But Ikkaku's got muscles. He's a man, so he just popped it back into place, so that happens there. But the more time he went to go punch Ikkaku and Hozokimaru, the weaker his punches got, to the point where they were just his regular punches. And even Ikkaku said, like, your regular wimpy punch couldn't even, you know, break a wooden sword, and yet, so now you're down to that, you know, you're just a regular high school student, I'm just gonna, like, knock you out with a headbutt and just BAM! End of the fight, right? It was kind of funny that Shishigawara didn't even realize that was the weakness. It seemed like that fight was the first time wait, this power has a weakness? Maybe the more times I use it, the weaker it becomes. You'd think that would have been one of the first things you would have tested. Now, the power is still incredibly OP, because as long as you're punching different things, it still has great power. And it also seems like even if you punch something the same thing like twice or 3 times, it still retains the power. If it's like, if you just barrage over and over again, like try to like Gatling the same person, then it gets weaker after like probably the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th punch and onwards. But it seems like the first punch is guaranteed to hit the jackpot no matter what. Maybe the second punch is like an 80% chance, 30%. I mean, you know, then like a 50% chance, and then a 30% chance, like the more punches you go until it just gets to 0. Maybe that's how it works. But if you knew that going into it, which apparently Shishigawara didn't, you could like punch Hozokimaru, break Hozokimaru, punch Ikkaku, break his freaking shoulder or dislocate his shoulder, then punch the ground, and like I guess spikes would just shoot up out of nowhere, like a giant crevasse would open up and you get sucked in, punch the tree and the tree would fall down on Ikkaku, punch the air and I don't know, like, you know, a vacuum would open up and suck out all the oxygen. I don't know how this works, right? But apparently if he just knew a little bit more about his Fullbring, maybe he could have gotten further, but I guess he didn't. I guess Tsukishima was kind of a shitty teacher, if we're being straight up. And Ginjo later actually orders Tsukishima to kill Shishigawara. A lot of shishis in that one. Ginjo orders Tsukishima to kill Shishigawara. Because he was fearing that his power was going to be too great. That's also why Ginjo didn't share Ichigo's power-up Fullbring ability with Shishigawara. He gave it to all the other members of Execution, like Yukio and Ruka and Giriko and everybody and Jackie, except you know, Shishigawara, because he's like, if his power gets any stronger, it's going to be a problem for everybody. You know that luck power. So you should probably just end him after this is over. And Tsukishima didn't have any compunctions about it. He was just like, but I kind of liked him. What are you gonna do? Okay. And then at the end of the story, when Tsukishima's like bleeding out, you know, he's carrying him away. Maybe he punched him with Jackpot Knuckle. Tsukishima-san, you need to live! BAM! And he's like, I can breathe even though I don't have lungs. It's a miracle. Thank you. Yes, I'll keep punching you to heal you. This character is a lot like my D&D character right now in Rustage's One Piece. You know, Devil's Luck William. You know, it's just like I punch people to heal them, and I also have just incredibly good luck, and I have the lucky feat. So, yeah, my character, if you're going to say which character my D&D character is like in Bleach, Shishigawara. There you go. So, yeah, but he's carrying Tsukishima away into the sunrise, and he's like, see, Tsukishima, look at the sunrise. It's cool, isn't it, Tsukishima-san? Isn't it cool, Tsukishima-san? And then I guess he just dies right there on the back of Shishigawara, and he's like, I finally understand, Ginjo. I finally understand. Ugh. And I guess Shishigawara buries him, I guess, and then, you know, pays him respects and whatever. Goes back to his normal life. Maybe he inherited the mansion. I hope he did, because that was a pretty cool mansion. Kind of got destroyed during the final battle of the arc, but, you know, cool mansion. So, yeah, that was Tsukishima and Shishigawara. 2 birds with 1 stone there. And time to roll that D6, which I did not have prepared. I'm sorry about that. Doing a lot of stuff today. Doing a lot of running around today. It's the 4th of July, so I'm setting off a bunch of fireworks later. going down a friend's place for that, and I'm also painting the Murakumo Giri downstairs in the garage. I have to actually apply another layer of paint after I'm done doing this. Doing a lot of running around today. Alright, so, this will be 1 for Ginjo, 3 for Jackie, 5 for Riruka, and, 2 Tsukishima, and 6 of Shishigawara we just did today. Alright, so here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the power of luck is on my side, which isn't really luck because it's probability, because if you know the trajectory and physics of how this lands, you can predict how it's gonna... Whatever, I'm not gonna get all math, science, physics class on you today. Here we go. 2, that was Tsukishima. No! It's 6, that was Shishigawara. Alright, here we go. 6. 5. That's Riruka. Okay, Riruka's next. Alright, cool. Cool. Alright, we talk about Riruka next. Let's see, hold on a second. There she is right there. On the volume cover, which I feel like kind of gave her a kind of a little bit of a boob job on the volume cover that, because, yeah, I don't remember them being that big in the actual story. But Riruka's awesome, and her and probably Yukio were the 2 I was the most excited to talk about here. Jackie's fun too, but Riruka, we're gonna have a fun time next time talking about that. I guess I have to go make her rubber gun, I guess. I could probably make that out of craft foam. We'll figure something out. Alright, hey everybody, have a great one. Tekking101 signing out. Later.